So there's plenty of mistakes you can make when purchasing a home. That's why today I wanted to go over these classic mistakes people make when purchasing a home so you can avoid them and be on your merry way. So especially today in 2022, it is eerie out there within the real estate market. You have the stock market crashing as well as of January 31st. And there's a lot of fear. We have a bunch of inflation going on, so people are kind of stockpiling their money into real estate. So today I want to go over these mistakes people make when purchasing a home so you can avoid them. And if you're one of the people looking to purchase in today's market, I know it's super competitive. And at the end, I'll give you some tips that you and your realtor can actually go over to hopefully get your offer accepted. So let's get into it. So when you first start looking for a house, you want to get pre-qualified. What that means is that you want to go to a lender and get a pre-qualification letter from them. So once you get your pre-qualification letter from them, you'll be ready to start looking at houses. But the mistake people make is that they use their pre-qual letter to go off of their purchase price. So what I mean by that is that they use their pre-qual letter, and let's just say they're pre-qualified for an $800,000 purchase price. They're looking at that $800,000 purchase price. So two mistakes there. Right now in today's market, it is super saturated and not a lot of inventory, so there are bidding wars. You want to be looking at least $50,000 below that pre-qual letter number. But also is that they don't take a step back and take into account their own finances. So they just trust their lender as well as their realtor, which you should not do. They do not have your best interest in mind when they get you pre-qualified. So your lender, if you're a W-2 employee, they're taking your gross monthly income and they're not taking into account your insurance and your taxes. So they are taking the top dollar that you are bringing in to qualify you. So what your lender is going to do to qualify you is that they're going to take 50% of your income if you're using a conventional loan, or 56% of your income if you are using an FHA loan. So they're going to take your gross monthly income and multiply it by 0.50 or 0.56, just depending on which route you take. And they're going to subtract all your monthly debts from that. So like I said before, your lender is going to qualify you for the most money possible. They're not going to take into account your other monthly expenses. So let's just say you and your spouse make $8,000 a month combined. So we're going to times that by 0.50 and we're going to get $4,000. So now you have that $4,000 and your monthly debts are, let's just say $600. And so you would qualify for a mortgage around $3,400 a month. And let's not forget those good old taxes and paying towards healthcare. So you and your spouse brought in $8,000 combined, gross, not net, and basically with taxes, you're bringing in anywhere between $5,500 or $6,000 per month, just depending on what state you live in as well. I usually tell my clients you want to be anywhere between 25% and 30%, just depending on their comfortability and also how much they want to travel each year. If they're traveling 3 times a year, or maybe they're a family that doesn't really care to travel, then they can maybe spend a little bit more on their monthly payment going towards their house. And this 30% or 25% is net income, not gross. So once you have your pre-qual letter and you and your spouse or just yourself have taken a step back and gathered together all of your monthly expenses and actually know how much you can afford, you want to make sure that you're saving. So number 2, I tell my clients they need to have a lot in savings. So you need to prepare for a down payment as well as closing costs. So that's the 2 things that people think about when they're purchasing a home. But the third little thing that I tell my clients is that they want to have 6 months in reserves, because after you purchase a home, a lot of the times things can go wrong within the home, whether it's, your washer, dryer break, or if it's a water heater, or even an AC unit goes out. You want to make sure you have enough money to cover that. But not only that, you don't know what life's gonna bring you. Maybe you get fired from your job or let go, and you have to have time to find a new job, and you still have that monthly mortgage you need to pay. So you need to be prepared with 6 months of a separate savings account aside from that down payment you're gonna use to purchase a house, as well as the closing costs. So that down payment can be anywhere between 3.5% if you're using an FHA loan, or let's say 20% down if you're trying to avoid PMI. And closing costs typically are anywhere between 2 and 3% of the purchase price. So another thing that I see people go wrong with when they purchase their first home or even their third home, they forget the timelines and the actual time it takes to purchase a house. So this is crucial because whether you're renting or you have your house up for sale and you need to purchase a new home, then you need to know the actual timeline of what it takes to purchase a home. So I'm hoping you have a good realtor and they're keeping you up to date with what the real estate market's doing in your area. I know right now where we live here in Orange County, the market is still crazy. So preparing to purchase a house is big because you're not always going to get your first offer accepted. And if you need to be out of your current situation, your current apartment or house within a month or a month and a half, finding your next home might be harder than you think. So depending on your job situation, getting pre-approved can take anywhere between 1 to 2 weeks. So I would add that to your timeline. After you find a good trusted lender, you're gonna submit all your documents to them. And once you submit your documents to them, they're gonna pull your credit. So this is where it could take a little bit longer. If you don't have great credit, your lender might come back to you and say, hey, look, John, you need to fix your credit before we can get you pre-approved. And fixing your credit can take anywhere between 6 weeks or, maybe 6 months. I'm not sure, but then you have to talk to someone else or come up with a game plan to actually get your credit up. So getting your pre-approval, if you have good credit, should take anywhere between 1 to 2 weeks. So next is the showing phase. The showing phase can take anywhere between 1 to 2 months, even longer, just depending on how picky you are with your house, if you want a fixer-upper, and what the market's doing. So right now, a lot of buyers are not getting their first offer accepted, and there's not a lot of inventory coming to market after homes are scooped up. So that showing phase can take, I would say, anywhere between 2 to 3 months right now in today's current real estate market. So you want to make sure that you're prepared for that. All right, so finally you got an offer accepted. Congratulations. Now you have your escrow period, which can be anywhere between 30 to 45 days or even longer, just depending on what the seller wants, or maybe you're in a situation where you need a longer escrow. But either way, you and the seller have come to an agreement with the escrow period. So during this time, you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence, and you want to make sure you're getting your inspector in there who's licensed, and making sure you want to move forward with the process. But just to keep things simple, during this time, it's going to be anywhere between 30 and 45 days. So by knowing this time period, you can be pushy with your realtor and let them know that you need to get into a house, or you can let your realtor know that, hey, look, I still have 6 months or 7 months left in my apartment. I'm going to start getting pre-approved and ready to purchase a home, and you can take your time and relax. And you don't have to speed the process up, but at least you know how long it usually takes to purchase a house now. Another mistake home buyers make is going after what I call the golden nugget property. So when I'm showing buyers, they typically just watch HGTV and think they need to go after that premier trophy property, which isn't the case. And especially in today's market, when it's super competitive and not a lot of inventory, I highly suggest that you start going for homes that may need a little bit more work. And depending on your budget, you can renovate it after you purchase the property, or you can renovate it over the 1 to 5 years that you're gonna be in your next home. But this will avoid you overpaying for a house, because what I'm seeing right now is those trophy golden nugget properties are getting $20,000 to $50,000 over asking, sometimes even higher, just depending on the price point. But A, you won't overpay for the house, and B, you won't be competing with as many buyers, because that's what everyone wants. Everyone sees HGTV, or they just want the perfect property. They get so excited, they get starry-eyed and kind of forget that a house is somewhat an investment, and you also have the opportunity to renovate the house exactly how you want it. And yes, it is extra work to renovate the house and hire contractors, but you can make it exactly how you want it. And there's always referrals. Everyone thinks that working with contractors is 100% of the time a nightmare, but that's not always the case. All right, so now you're prepared to go out there and purchase your first home or your third home, but you know the exact timeline right here. So congratulations, and thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing, and please like the video. It'll help share the video. I'm working on YouTube, so thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.